gonna do a live this morning. If gonna beat around the bush to do it, just because of things going on. Um, but I do have a live tonight on Free Thinkers Fireside Chat. Miss Helen or Hell's Bells. I'll be on there at 6 o'clock her time, 5 o'clock my time, which my time is Central Standard. So, but anyway, I'm going to do that tonight. Um, and I wanted to express my thinking, um, just because of what day is and what happened. Um, I 9/11 uh, changed our country. Um, it changed us for the worst, and I'll admit it changed me for the worst. Um, when that happened, I was a sophomore sitting in my uh, math models class, and there was kids coming in late for school that day, and they're like, why were y'all late?" I mean, there was tons of kids late, and they're like, "Something's going on in New York. Planes have hit," and it was, let's see, it was 9:02, which I did do a poem. I released it at 9:02 this morning. Um, so it's there's that. But I wanted to talk to y'all on this. Um, it did change me, and I was very angry, and I was like, "Who's doing this to my country?" And uh, it it changed all of us. It's post traumatic stress for the masses. Um, it's something that Pearl Harbor. I wasn't there, but um, when Pearl Harbor happened, everybody was in an uproar, and they were ready to go to war. Blah blah blah. But my thoughts on that situation is it was a really really weird thing, because you feel that, and we felt it with, just like what happens to people that's been through a tornado or a hurricane. I mean, Katrina. Can you imagine what those people have suffered? And it's the same situation. But it was for the whole country. I mean, it was, it's a different kind of PTSD to me. Um, and we felt it. Um, I don't. Let's see. I'll bring up Charlie Kirk in a minute. Um, but I don't. He would have been. He's 31. He's 10 years younger than me. Uh, I'm trying to figure out the math if he would be born or not. But anyway, 31 years old. He probably has maybe an older brother or sister or something that would have been born around my time. I don't know. Um, Hello, who's ever in the chat. Um, but when that happened, we were all mad, and I was particularly mad And that's why I went into the military. I felt like it was my duty to take care of the situation, to help take care of the situation. And at that time, I was a Christian. I was Christian. Uh, and a lot of people will say, "Well, there's no atheists in the military." Yeah, there is. Uh, and just like anything else, it's a culture. It is. It is a culture, and uh, you know that was the big thing with my generation. I'm 41. I lived through it. Um, we had friends at school that their parents died in that situation. I remember one of my friends. I can't remember her name now, but her dad traveled, and part of his job was he did financing in some sort, but he was in the World Trade Centers at that time or around that area. I don't remember much about um, what what happened. Um, I really don't remember. But then I do remember one kid that I went to school with. His mom was was actually she wasn't near. She was near the World Trade Centers, and her daughter came back, and once her mom got back home, uh, it was bad, and it terrorized all of us. And you go through a grieving, just like with anything, anything that you love, anything that um, you just go through that kind of stuff. And looking back, I could, I could feel it. And the first thing that happens, there's a grieving process. Um, Grieving, you're first, you're confused, and then uh, you're mad, and then you get sad, or it's a different. Each grieving cycle is different for everybody, each person. Um, I know that with my grieving process, the first thing I do is cry, and then I get nervous. I get uh, angry too, and then I get solemn. I get peace with it, and I just think that we still hold on to that. And I say this wholeheartedly. Um, I don't condone violence, and y'all know that I don't. Um, but we really need to take a look at who we are as a country. Uh, you know, I'm I'm all for gun control. I've always been for that. Is it? I just think common sense. Uh, and my heart goes out to Charlie Kirk's family, really does, because you know anything that happens, and that's the thing is like I have like I've had friends their parents passed away in school, and during that time, that's a very hectic thing to go through. Um, when my dad passed away. I was 4, and you know, I I think I grieved a different way. Then the second person in my life, my she was my grandma, but she was my mom went because my mom's disorders, and she had her first stroke in 1992, and we thought we were gonna lose her. We really did, and she lived 8 more years. But I could remember sitting on her lap before that time, and I talked to her about life and death, and with my dad, and she she I used to be terrified of tornadoes, guys. I did. There's something that you need to be terrified on, um because and I remember just climbing up in her lap, and I said, I love you, and you've always been there for me, and I don't want you to go. I don't want you to die. And her words was like, well, you have to understand that you need to spend all the time that you can with your love, with people you love, and that's the thing, and you do. Um, Different, just because you think different, or think the world in a different way, you know that's you. Um, my problem is trying to force that on someone else. Uh, I'll touch base on this because it's something that I'll be talking a little bit about on Helen's show tonight. Sorry, guys. That's East Texas. Um, you know, do I fear of them coming and doing something, and my family? You know, no, I don't. Um, because I'm gonna stay calm. I'm gonna stay cool and collected. Um, because I know um, that if somebody steps on my rights or my family's rights, I'm taking it to court. And a lot of people are like, I don't have the money. I will find a way. I will find a way if they come after my family, me, or people I love. Um, I'm not wealthy and I'm not rich, and I live in a double wide trailer. I live in a trailer park too. Um, but I want you guys to understand. I don't, like I said, I don't condone violence. I don't condone it. I don't control it even between nations. I don't. I think war is a tragedy, and it should never happen. It really shouldn't. What are we fighting over? This is 2025. You know, so I don't believe people we should be fighting with anybody, and I don't think other uh, societies should be fighting with each other. Fighting with each other does nothing but cause problems. Um, And, like I said, we need to unify. And it's not just here in America, it's the globe, it's the whole world. We need to stop with this us versus them mentality. Uh, I mean, people say 9/11, and that happened, and it was, some say it was a religious thing. Some, yeah, it was. Um, but like on my video today, and I touch it in the poem. I do. I touch it in the poem. Um, we lost. It wasn't just Christians. It wasn't just Muslims. It wasn't just atheists. It wasn't people that didn't even have a chance to choose their religion because of there was babies there. That's the thing. We did not lose just Christians. We lost other people from other faiths and other people from our, they would, maybe they was not from here and they were here on business or whatever, and that happened. I haven't really looked at that list. Maybe I should. Uh, but we didn't. That's the thing, is people of very different backgrounds. Um, and we need to show respect for that decision. Um, this us versus them mentality, it's not going to get us anywhere. We're going to continue to argue. We're going to continue to fight within each other. We're going to do things, ferocious things to people, just because of the us versus them mentality. And us versus them mentality can manifest in so many ways. Um, it's it's difficult for me to get that to people's heads, because we need not to fight and argue against each other. Um, what's going on in Israel? What's going on with Russia? What's going on with us here in the United States? Uh, you know, people fight over the stupidest things. Um, I'm going to talk a little bit about what I know, from what I've experienced, from my point of view, and I'm going to probably get on it with tonight. Um, but when, as me identifying as Native American, I had to delete, you know, that Christian mindset, because I said, if I'm going to live as a Native American, and say I am what I am, I needed to remember a few things that happened to my Native American family, to my Scott and my Irish side of myself, essence. Uh, the Christians, the groups of Christians that came to America in search of freedom of religion and from it. So, um, they came here because of they wanted they wanted to be free to choose what their path was. And hang on, guys, I gotta shut my. Oh, okay. Never mind. They came here for that, and then we had other waves of different ethnic or cultures that came in, and they forced it onto my Native American family here. Now, yes, uh, obviously, I got here somehow. I got to America somehow. I don't really know much on how I got here because once you get to James Colbert, or, yeah, James Logan, ain't that funny? I'm a James too. Uh, James Logan was, somehow got here. Was he Canadian? Was he Scott Irish? Where did he come from? I'm still trying to figure that out because, well, the records and things that I haven't been able to find, and there it's all through my family. But I'm sure that one of my family members came to America in search of freedom from their religion or of a religion where they could choose what religion they wanted to follow. And in doing so, they destroyed what Native Americans lived like and what was the system. Actually working on a video on that. Um, but someone in my family of my descent came here, and one of them probably was looking for their freedom to worship the way they want to. There's family members that came because they wanted opportunity to build their own name, to write their own history, write their story. Um, how they did that, and that is the thing is when you have to look at your family and the reason they got here or came here. I've always lived. You have the freedom to choose whatever religion you want. Choose your flavor. There's a lot of flavors. Where it gets wrong, and this is what happened. Truly, what happened is a group of Christians got, or people that follow some form of Christianity, forced that onto my Native American family. Now, what does that look like for me? I have, if I have the knowledge of what they did, and I may be a project of several situations. Uh, I'll put this out there, and you take it for what you want to. My dad and my aunt were married way before I came along. She was 14. He was 21. This is nine. Dad was born in 1936. My aunt was born in 1945. My mom was born in 42. My mom was the oldest. But my dad and my aunt didn't have to have my grandma's permission to marry him. And me and her we had a battle my whole life about things. And I finally, and I'll go into that detail tonight, but I let that too go. I did. I had to make peace with her, and I did. And it was hard, and it was not fun. I moved into our when my whoop. when my mom and my aunt passed away, the opportunity was for me to come back home. And I did. And I'm here. And at first I was like, I got to do everything right. I want to make sure I don't do this and do that. And, this is her house. And, guess what? I'm here now. I'm here in in the place that I had all the problems. And it's actually freed me because I would have felt really, really bad if I would have never made up with my aunt. It's kind of funny. Her grandkid and her, they were close when he was little, and then he started acting up. And guess what? He moved in here with her and destroyed the house, literally. And so there's that negative energy that I've been trying to kick. But that's the thing, guys, is what does that mean? And why that I had to let that go. I had to let the trauma go of the things that I've been through. And guys, we all go through things and we don't know why. We don't know the situation. We don't know that. So my thoughts on today, 9/11, is we need to realize that, we went through this. My generation went through this. And a lot of the people that Charlie was recruiting was they're in their low 30s. I mean, some of them are probably in their 40s. But they don't know what it feels like. I don't think they know what it feels like. And I think they carry on some of our anger too. And they want to be heard. And they want to feel that it's, they're whatever. As far as me on 9/11, I try to remember everyone that for who they were. There's a lot of different reasons why we shouldn't be worried. I do not understand. I do not understand the facts that we means all of us, every single one of us. We all have trauma. We all have things that blow our system up. A lot of Christians and the ones that are mainly my age or lower. I mean, I don't really. There's I call him my best friend basically. We see him almost every day because my dog, he works at the school and he's my kid's godfather. And I talk to him all the time. Oh, my wife's home. But that's the thing. And, that's what happens is people doing that thing. Hi, love. I'm in the middle of a live. I'm in the middle of a live. He came home early. But, that's just the way we were. Steph, she looked at the world a different through different lenses, and that's why I love her. Yes, sisters out, patches out, little bits is out, but guys, I don't want my voice to go. No, hang on. What? I need to take a picture and see if I can figure out how to make them look like that. But anyway, guys, I want to hop off here, and because I need to save my voice for tonight. But that's my thoughts on 9/11 and things that are going on. I don't, like I said, I don't condone violence at any matter. Others do, but we need to figure this out together. I will talk to y'all. I will see y'all tonight on my first interview on an atheist podcast. But anyway, guys, I will talk to y'all later. Have a good day. Remind yourself that there's other people that may not think like you, and you need to give them their reverence that you respect. And if they disrespect you, on the other hand, then they disrespect you, and that's. But y'all have a good day. I will see y'all later on.